so it's been a hot minute since I last filmed a vlog and uploaded it to YouTube, so if I'm a bit rusty with this, please just, absolutely slate me in the comments. So because it's been a while, I thought I might as well just, bring you guys up to speed with what I've been doing for the past year and a bit, because a lot has kind of changed for me personally and also in my drumming journey. So the past year I've not really done any vlogging at all. That's just because, say with gigs and stuff, I got to a point where I just wanted to go to the shows and, set up, play, pack down, run away, and then that was it. But, with different changes in my personal life as well, I now have sort of become more accustomed to, I need to promote myself as a drummer, as a producer and all these things, because I'm doing a lot more audio-based stuff, so you can probably see I've got some new additions behind me. So if I'm not working my part-time job, then I'm always in here working away, learning how to be a producer, how to mix, and basically just doing a lot of research and basically writing stuff down. Can you imagine a drummer writing stuff down? Bizarre. All jokes aside, I cannot write, so yeah, don't judge. But yeah, so past year I've had a lot of changes personally. Last year I went deaf in one ear, that was great. If you know how to snowboard and you try wakeboarding, it does not mean you can still do all the snowboard tricks. It was a really bad time, but we got through that, and luckily I can still hear perfectly fine. Yeah, just don't risk it. If you're in the music industry, you kinda need your ears, believe it or not, so yeah. So I'm in my final year of my 3-year mentorship with Kaz Rodriguez, and I've come to the realization that the first year I did pretty okay with what I was doing. I was practicing my playing, really changing who I am as a drummer. Beforehand, when I went through school and uni, I was not a good drummer. I did not practice what I needed to practice at all, really. I just thought I knew how to play and that was it. But as soon as I met Kaz, I was basically thrown down a set of stairs saying, "You don't know how to play, do it better." So I feel like I'm still far away from the drummer that I want to be, but say that first year really helped me kind of establish what I needed to practice on, how I do it, and I feel like I'm improving slowly but surely, hopefully. The second year I did not really take advantage of. I was still practicing my drums. I was kind of doing some camera work, but I didn't really do enough audio work. So as you can see behind me, now it's my final year. I'm doing a lot more audio stuff because by the end of the year I'm going to be working whatever jobs it is. Hopefully I'll be able to say I've established my own studio and I'll be out on tours, but we haven't got to that point yet. We've got 1 more year, and right now some things are in the pipeline, but there's no guarantee to that. It's all on me, so this final year is all about me working as hard as I can, showing what I can offer, what values I have to musicians and studios, etc. And the main thing is I want to take you guys along to show how that is. If you guys are interested in pursuing a job in the music industry, or just see, that if you've got passion and you want to follow it but you're not sure, it can work out, hopefully. So with all the vlogs that I did in the past, I didn't really focus on where my base is, which is here. So I'm going to show you all the gear that I use. There's some updates, there's a layout change, so we'll look at all of that. We'll look at what I use, why I use it, how it helps me, and if you're interested, how it can help you as well. So the cliche thing that all YouTube people say is there's going to be a link to everything that I'm going to be talking about in the description below. So if you're interested, check it out. If not, then that's up to you. I don't judge you. I get some people aren't as nerdy about drum stuff as others are. I certainly am, but that's just me because I'm sad. So we'll start on the kit, even though there's a separate vlog about the day I got it, but I've had it for 2 years now, so I kind of know it a bit better, and yeah, let's go. Okay, so if you haven't seen that vlog that I filmed back in 2021 where I had a mullet down to here, I got a new kit. I was upgrading from a Superstar hybrid drive, cannot say that, to a Starclassic Maple in, let's see if I can say this, in Ruby Pacific Walnut Burst. This is the 8-inch tom, and in terms of drums, best kit I've ever played. Last year I did have Kaz's Star Walnut kit here. He was away touring in America because he's fancy like that, and he didn't have anyone looking after his kit, so I drove down to London, picked it up, brought it back, had it here for quite a while. When he wanted it back, it was a lot of back and forth fighting, he was saying, but it's mine, and I said, but you're not here. And eventually he started saying, I'll sue you, so what can you do? But luckily enough, I am absolutely in love with this drum kit. It's the best one I've ever had. Finish is, in the last video you probably saw me freaking out about how good it was, but I still can't get over it. you know, red's my favourite colour, and how it just kind of goes from completely dark reds through to almost a natural wood finish and back out. I just love it. And normally these kits do come with the smoke black nickel hardware, but this one is the classic chrome. The other hardware looks great, but at the same time, I don't think I've ever seen a kit in this finish with this kind of hardware, so it's a bit more unique, and I absolutely love that because I'm a bit over the top with my drums. But yeah, these ones still got the stock heads on it after 2 years. I've just been prioritising other things, you know, cameras, audio kits, so eventually I just need to get the finger out and buy new heads. But saying that, 2 years old, these heads are still amazing, you know, studio quality. The G2's on the top and it is G1's on the bottom. Still plays amazing, you know. I'm able to get a really good range of tuning. It's still got a lot of punch and a lot of depth and tone from the actual shells. It's just a really good kit. What I'm doing right now, I'll show you. I'm playing 1 up, 2 down just now, and it's doing everything I need. You know, I've got 3 racks, 2 floors, but I'm only using 1 rack just now because that's what I'm needing right now. But when I gave Kaz's kit back, I did go back to using 3 up, 2 down for a while. Then went to 2 up, 2 down. And it's good to have that size of kit, but not always needing all racks. So I took this advice from Kaz as well, and I'd always give this advice to other people buying a kit. Buy more than you need, because you never know. If you're wanting to get into being a professional musician, it's always better to have too much and it's available to you, or not enough and you need it. So if I was asked to play a tour and it was an artist saying, right, we've got a lot of dynamics and a lot of different styles in the show, I'd say, right, it might be best to have 2 up, 2 down. Or if it was like a songwriter's gig that I've done in the past quite recently, and in my circumstance it was a sort of country pop vibe, what I did was I had 1 up, 2 down because I didn't really need to do too much. There wasn't enough demand for me to have a big dynamic range of toms and sounds. So I could have got by with just snare and floor. I've done that with that particular artist before, but for this one, because it was a bit more of a bigger venue, I just thought, you know, might as well have 1 up, 1 down. We've got a lot of songs where I need that kind of kit, and yeah, it's just, you know, from one band where you need 1 rack and 1 floor to another band, say the next week, where you need, say, as much as 3 up, 2 down. Or even if you want to take it further, you know, you can have 1 up, 1 down. If it's a pop gig, I'd say maybe a 10 up and a 14 down. It's maybe something that's a bit more, you know, big sounds, you know, like a really classic rock gig or whatever. You can have, say, a 12 up and then a 16 down, gives you that extra beef and punchiness. So just whatever you really kind of prefer doing, you know, whatever sound you want or whatever sound you require to have. It's better to be versatile by having a lot more drums than you need just in case. But you know, that's just a personal preference. You know, if you decide you only need a small kit and, you know, it does the job, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, in terms of kits that I've played, you know, it could be kits that I've tried at uni or school or at gigs. I just always find that Tama just always brings out the bag a bit more for me. It's just, you know, it's the build, it's the way the hardware works, it's the sounds especially, it's just everything about it. It's just always Tama for me, so don't hate me if you're not a Tama person, but me personally, my sound is just always going to be Tama, so yeah, I can't change it. Look at snare drums as well, just have a look at what I'm using with that. So if someone asked me what my favourite snare drum is just now, I have a bit of a tough one, but personally right now my favourite is this 13x7 Tama SLP G Maple. That has a lot to say, but it's a maple shell, 13x7. I've never really played 13 inches before. It's always been a 14 for me because that's just the classic sounds and size for a shell. But honestly, having a 13 inch that's so deep as well, it's just got an amazing amount of crack to it. So I say that last year I went down to pick up Kaz's kit and I maybe stole one of these. Stolen is used loosely, so we'll not go into that any further. But yeah, so this is his, now mine, don't tell him. And yeah, I use it mostly for my main band, which is Post-Ironic States, just because, you know, that's kind of synth pop slash punk rock kind of thing. Just check it out if you don't know. But normally I would have used a 14 inch. I did back in the day, but I felt like having a 13 inch that is absolutely cranked all the way up, you know, it's almost as tight as it can go. It just cut through the mix so much better for me, and it kind of gave me a bit more identity as a drummer. So yeah, I absolutely love this thing. You know, having it cranked up sounds great. A lot of crack, and you know, I've got a bit of dampening. I've got a drum dot on it just now, one of the smaller ones, but I still feel it's got a lot of ring to it. In certain situations, is actually better. I'd say, you know, it gives it more breath for such a small drum. So yeah, that's what I would play at most gigs just now. I'll show you the other one I'm using. So even though that's my favourite snare, the other one that I use, which I'm using quite a lot now, so this is the Tama Aluminium 14x6, I think it is, Starphonic snare. I love Starphonics just because, you know, they've got such a distinctive build. You know, the sound is always really unique and I love it. This one I went for just because it was recommended by Mr. Rodriguez, just because. But it was very sort of a classic sound, you know, 14x6, 6.5, I still can't remember. But it was just a bit of a step up from the snares I was using in the past. I've used, say, Mapex and Liberty snares in the past. Say the Liberty snare I absolutely love. I got that for my 18th and it's one of, I think, 14x8. A huge amount of different woods used in it and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's really good for a sort of auxiliary snare, you know, having that sort of really deep beefy sound. But yeah, in terms of Tama, this one is the one I'm using a lot just now, just because it is that more classic sound. It's very versatile, which is a cliche thing to say, but yeah, this really is. It can do, I've used it for rock gigs, I've used it for pop and country, I use it in fusion quite a lot. So yeah, the 13x7 SLP, absolutely great as well, but for this one, this is just a bit more of a classic snare drum sound that you're looking for. Good amount of body, really good attack, and again, it's got a really nice ring to it. I use the M1 snare weight on this one just to kind of control that ring a bit more because it is metallic, so you get a bit more ringing. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous snare right now. So yeah, without further ado, let's go on to the last bit of gear, which is my cymbals, and I absolutely love cymbals, so this is my favourite part. So with the setup I'm using, I will never use anything other than Zildjian. I've used Zildjian since I started playing drums. I have tried other cymbals in the past, but nothing has ever done it for me like Zildjian have. So yeah, no product placement or anything like that. It's all just my personal preference. Zildjian's just got the unique sound to me that I love, so I'm absolutely loyal to them. The hi-hats I'm using are the 15-inch K Sweets. I've used them for years now. They have such good stick definition and a lot of good wash to it, so you know, if you want to sort of stick out or just blend in with the mix, they do both. It's just up to you playing, obviously, but they're so good. Really dark, but have a nice sort of chick to them as well. Absolutely love them. Crashes, the first one I'm using on my left is the 18-inch A Custom crash. I've had that since 2015, I think, and I have no idea how it's not broken on me. You know, that thing just really puts up a good fight. Really classy kind of classic cymbal sound. I absolutely love it. The other crash I'm using is the 20-inch K Cluster crash, and that thing is one of my favourite cymbals ever. It sticks out so well. It's got a nice, really classic sound, quite dark, but with the cluster hammering, it is so trashy at the same time. It's so unique. The ride I'm using is quite a special one for me. That was sent to me from Zildjian through Kaz, and it's the 22-inch K light ride, and I've never heard a ride like it. Really good stick definition, a really good open crashy sound as well. Yeah, the sound, I've just never heard anything like it. I don't really know how to describe it. It's quite glassy and shimmery, but it's still got quite a nice high into it. So yeah, that was special to me. I've started using a weird sort of 3 splash stacker setup on my left hand side. The first one is the 10-inch K Special Dry. That's really good because it's quite trashy. It sticks out when you first hit it, but then it just disappears straight away. So it kind of it sticks out and then goes, I'm off. So yeah, it's just absolutely perfect. The second one is a 10-inch K Custom Dark Splash with a 10-inch Oriental Splash Trash China thing on top. Again, really dry, really quick, but it sticks out a lot when you hit it. The last one is a 10-inch splash with a 10-inch spiral stacker on top. That's quite special to me as well. I was mucking about with splashes one day back in 2016, showing my age now. I put those two together and it's just so unique. It's kind of like an open hi-hat sound, but a bit trashier than that. Yeah, I've used it in a lot of live situations and I just absolutely love it. The last one, which is on my right hand side, I'd say is kind of like a signature sound for me. It's a 16-inch EFX A Custom Trash Crash, and then on top is a 14-inch K Special Dry hi-hat top, and for that it's kind of like a China sound, but it's not as open and with a long sustain as a China. it's kind of just its own weird, trashy, kind of explosive thing. You can adjust the sustain with the wing nut, obviously. You can have it really tight or really loose or somewhere in between. And it's just, for me, it's so unique. And I put a chain ring on top just to give it an extra bit of flair. And yeah, I absolutely love that thing. So I'm going to be playing that forever, I reckon. So the way it works is, obviously I play my drums, they go into my mics, and then they all get sent into my desk, and then from there, if I'm just playing, I take a stereo aux out into a module here, which is the Roland VR4 HD, and then I can get an in-ear feed from that. That's a video audio mixer, so if I plug that into my laptop and open up QuickTime and I just hit record, I get a full mix from my desk, and also all my cameras are hooked into that module, go straight into my laptop. I could have 4 cameras in there, and then I can set on auto switching, so I don't need to worry about editing the video, and then obviously full mix as well, so absolutely perfect. If I've recorded and I'm wanting to then mix, obviously the mic's going to the desk, going to my Logic, and then I route that so the outputs go into the desk again. Take a main out into these speakers here, which are the focal monitors, and then that means I can mix some stuff from there. So if you see my Instagram posts recently, you'll be wondering how I managed to get the camera to do this. And that is a camera slider that I'm using from a company called Grip Gear. If you're looking to start using camera sliders, you can use it for any small camera like I'm using, which is the Sony a6000. You can use it on things like the a7C as well, you know, slightly bigger. Or even, you know, if you're using your phone, something like that. If you wanted to break into the camera slider game, you know, you wanted to make your shots a bit more interesting, a bit of movement, but you're not wanting to spend extremely stupid amounts of money, the Grip Gear camera slider really works, but professional grade results, it works absolutely perfect for me. I use it on almost all my videos now, and as I say, it just makes your content a bit more interesting with the side to side movement. You can also do up and down if you're wanting. I'd really check those guys out. They do really good quality products, and yeah, I'm definitely going to buy more from them, so yeah, check them out. This is not product placement again, this is all just from my experience, so don't judge me. If you're interested, check them out. Really good quality stuff, but again, not product placements, don't shout at me.